Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first ever Facebook Live Sunday School for Christ United. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday and that I'm kind of excited to do this. This is the first time we've ever done it, and I got to learn something new this week. I got to learn how to do Facebook Live, which actually took me a couple hours to figure out, and a phone call to Joy. So I see we've got Patrick just joined us. So, morning, Patrick. We'll wait a couple more minutes before we start. I'm going to kind of run this like Sunday school. So first we'll talk about our story, and I'll read the story to you first. And then we will talk about it a little bit. And then we've got a craft, and we can do that together and talk about everything that's been going on, and then close with a prayer. This should take about half an hour, and then when we're all done, Mom and Dad can watch church service if they want, or you can too with them, because that's already been pre-recorded. The governor is supposed to give a message today at 9:30, and so they were going to actually do it live at the church, and then they decided that it would be easier for people, if they wanted to hear what the governor had to say, to do that first, and then they could watch church at their convenience today, which I'll probably do later as well. Anyway, okay, well, we'll give it a couple more minutes. Looks like it's going to be kind of a nice day, still a little chilly, but you should have hopefully have a good day, get to go outside a little bit. So, but our lesson today is all about Jesus breaking the bread. And so I'm still waiting to see if anybody else is going to join. We'll give it another minute. So, as you can see, this is my office. This is my home office. This is where I actually work out of every day when I'm home working, because I do work from home a couple days a week, and then I get to go visit clients. But this is my room, and I actually cleaned it yesterday just for this because it was messy, and I had nothing else to do yesterday other than clean. See, even us adults are getting a little bored. And we got a couple more weeks. So my house should be immaculate. I'm trying to not have that light blind you. Okay, I think we'll start. All right, what we're going to do is, the story is Mark 14, 12 through 26. And I will read it to you. It says, now, okay, did I have it on? 12, Mark 14, 12 through 26, which is the Lord's Supper, or as we kind of usually refer to it as the Last Supper. On the first day of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb, Jesus' disciples asked him, "Where do you want us to go and make preparations for you to eat the Passover?" So he sent two of his disciples, telling them, "Go to the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Say to the owner of the house as he enters, 'The teacher asked, where is my guest room, where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large upper room, furnished and ready. Make preparations for us there." The disciples left, went into the city, and found things just as Jesus told them. So they prepared the Passover. When evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were reclining at the table eating, he said, "I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They were saddened, and one by one they said to him, "Surely not I." "It is one of the 12, he replied, "one who dips bread into the bowl with me. The Son of Man will go just as it is written about him, but woe to the man who betrays the Son of Man. I will be better for him if he had not been born." or it would have been better for him if he had not been born. While they were eating, Jesus took bread, gave thanks, and broke it. He gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take this, this is my body." Then he took the cup, gave thanks, and offered it to them. They all drank from it. "This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many," he said to them. "I tell you the truth, I will not drink again of the fruit and the wine until the day when I drink it anew in the kingdom of heaven." When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. We kind of hear a lot of that scripture every week when they're preparing to give us communion. The pastors always say that about the bread and the wine. And so that's a nice reminder for us every single week that, Jesus walked on this earth. He loved to socialize with his friends, and he gave us something to every day we can remember with communion, that he was here and he was one of us. That's, Jesus really liked to be with his friends and be with his family. And, and a lot of us, we're the same way. We really do enjoy that. And right now, we're kind of not able to do that. But we can still communicate with our family and our friends. There's a lot. You can do FaceTime, you can write letters, you can send cards. And that is something that we can kind of start doing more of. And so that, even though we can't be closer to people right now, we can still, have some interaction. And that way we won't feel so lonely and so isolated. And that's part of the reason why they came up with the plan to do Sunday school this way. So you guys would still get Sunday school, and you would, and we can still see each other. So I hope you do enjoy this. So going back to the story, Jesus did a lot of things during meals. When he turned the water into wine at the wedding, that another social event. When he fed the 5,000s with the loaves of bread and the fish, he made sure everybody got fed that day. Jesus often had meals with people that other people wouldn't have anything to do with. Tax collectors, sinners. Everybody was welcome at his table. And that's always a nice thing for all of us to remember. Jesus is with us every day. And that and when we're sad or lonely, he would have been the person, if he was still on this earth, to say, "Hey, sit at my table. Let's have lunch. What's wrong? Talk to me." That's all he wants. He just wants to have a relationship with all of us. And even when you're little, he loves kids, He always talked about that. You just get to be part of him. So, and it was nice because in that passage, they talk about what, he prepared for the meal. He sent his friends, and he told them exactly what the plan was. And so he went and found a nice big room where the 12 of them could be together. And they call it the Last Supper because that's the last time all 12 of them got, all 13 got to be together. And they got to have a wonderful meal, and he gave them something to remember him by with communion. And he told them, one of you is going to betray me. And that had to just be heartbreaking. And so, it's just sad to think about that. But yet, it was such a joyous occasion. And he's just telling them, this is going to happen. Well, Jesus was always honest. One of the things, is with the Last Supper, is that there are so many different pictures of how people thought the Last Supper was, and artists have drawn, lots of pictures of it. They don't really describe the room a lot other than it was just a big room and it was furnished. And so that kind of gives people their own interpretations of what they think the Last Supper looked like. And you think about, wonder what they ate. They don't talk about that. And I don't think they had turkey or stuffing. But they probably had a lot of vegetables, and then they had a lot of fruit. That was it for the area. I think they have a lot of figs and probably olives. So I always think about that. I always think, wonder what they ate at the Last Supper. But I like to cook, so that's probably why I think about that a lot. I wonder, was this like a beautiful room? Was it like a banquet room? Or was it just like a room in somebody's house? How was it decorated? So, there's a lot of things to think about, when you're thinking about the Last Supper. And, this time of year is Lent, and it's a very important time in the church. This is the time where we prepare for the resurrection. And Easter is such a happy day. And to be honest, that is my favorite holiday. I absolutely love Easter. I've always loved it, even when I was a little kid. I just always enjoyed it. Well, and so this is, we're preparing to celebrate the resurrection. And a lot of times on Easter, we have big meals and we get with our families and we enjoy them. And when you're a kid, you get to go on Easter egg hunts and you get Easter baskets and all that. It's a ton of fun. I just love Easter. It's a good day. Always my favorite holiday. Always has been. Maybe because I like rabbits. And then, and that's kind of like the animal for Easter. That and chicks. So, but anyway, so Easter is a good time of year. And, and then like I said, and what it symbolizes Christ dying on the cross for our sins and then resurrecting as he promised before he ascends into heaven. And, he said all those things and it came true. So that really, again, it's another lesson that Jesus teaches us. So as we, I was going to show, I guess, a picture of the Last Supper. Here is, okay, I'm trying to figure the Last Supper here. And this is one that we could color, or I always like to draw my own. So for right now, why don't we either color or draw a picture of the Last Supper. And while we're doing that, we can talk about a few things, especially with what's been going on lately. Right now, a lot of you haven't been in school for a couple of weeks, and that, I bet, is some fun. But if you're used to having a routine, I am sure that it's going to get boring. And it's getting boring for us grown-ups too. We're kind of used to going out and about and doing our thing, and for a couple of weeks we're not going to be able to do that. So because of that, we're all going to have a little more patience with each other. And that's not always easy to do. I am not a patient person. And I really am going to have to learn to be very patient. And and like I said, I am just not a super patient person. And I'm going to have to be patient with the dog. I'm going to have to be patient with my husband. I'm going to have to get used to not seeing my granddaughter when I want, and things like that. And so, even with grown-ups, we got a lot going on too. And we know you guys are going to be bored. And, yeah. So we just all have to be a little more patient with each other. So I'm starting to draw my Last Supper. Anybody have anything going on? Because you can make comments if you want. Anybody have, I'm trying to draw sandals. I'm not doing a very good job. I'm making Jesus look like he has bigger feet than he does. So, okay, I'm drawing too while we talk. Well, and I guess one thing you can think about with this time of year is you can get outside a little more. You probably have to do your schoolwork. Some of you actually got schoolwork sent home. You're probably going to be in school a lot longer than you planned on. And that's not fun. That's not going to be fun at all. But we'll get through it. And, none of us have ever had this happen in our lifetime. So we're just, we're kind of all muddling through and figuring out how to do this. Okay, what else do we have? I'm just looking for different colors for hair. See, this is what I've got going on so far for my Last Supper. And this time when you're at home, we're all kind of stuck at home. And I'm probably going to be working from home for a couple of weeks. This kind of gives me an opportunity to do some things I normally would not have made time for. And, things like I'm going through stuff. You guys could go through and find toys you don't play with anymore. You donate, get ready to donate. You can read, play some games you haven't played in a long time. Yeah, you could have mom and dad play games with you. I hope, there's all kinds of things we can learn to do. And you can spend a lot more time with your parents, or if you're staying with your grandparents or another, set of adults through this, just so you can learn to talk more. You can ask them a lot of questions about, what was life like when you were my age? You can just get to know each other a little bit better. Just things like that. That's, that'll be a lot of fun. I know we've been watching a lot of movies and, like I said, I've been cleaning a lot, going through some things, walking the dog, all those kind of things, get outside and get some fresh air, keeping my distance from the neighbors and still saying hi, looking out for some of the older people in the neighborhood. Oh, and if you have older people in your neighborhood, you can actually send, make them a card, just leave it on their front porch. They'll find it. And, that really makes their day. And they'll be really, really happy to see that. So, if you like to draw a lot or, make a card, that would be a really good idea. Maybe write your grandparents a letter. Yeah, grandparents really like that. And that way you could practice writing. You could practice writing letters. Maybe draw them a picture, make them a card. Oh, they would love it. You really would love it. Or, somebody else in your family. That's just some ideas to help us get back, get through this. I'm actually going to make a lot of cards probably in the next couple of weeks. I've got all kinds of stuff that I've been planning on doing. So, what else? I'm going to finish up a couple more of my disciples here. So, Uh, so what are some of your favorite parts of Easter? I know some of you are going to say, oh, I love an Easter egg hunt. Or I love ham. I like the food. I also like, going to church because I always think that the music for that time of year is always so uplifting and it's just beautiful. So that's another reason why I really, really like that time, like this time of year. So, and chocolate. Oh, chocolate. Hey, I agree. My favorite candy in the world is Reese's peanut butter eggs. Oh, good. The eggs and candy, yeah, always good. And we always used to get little things in our Easter basket too, and that was always a lot of fun to get that. When my son was little, he used to love to go hunt Easter eggs. And he'd find all the eggs, and then he'd empty them, and he'd hand me the empty eggs, and he'd go hide them again. And so I'd go outside or in the house, depending on the weather, and I would, hide all the eggs again for him. And he just enjoyed finding them. And that was always fun for him. Oh, someone loves dyeing eggs. That is fun. I haven't done that for a long time, but now that I have a granddaughter, I might start doing that again. That might be something fun to do with her. When I used to do it when I was little, we used to, on the hard-boiled eggs, we would draw a crayon. Emma and Jack love when the Easter Bunny comes to our house. Oh, he leaves money in their eggs. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's fun. Everybody likes a little money. But yeah, that's cute. That's a good idea. Yeah, we always used to put just like little people in there, or we would, that could fit in the eggs, or we would put some candy in there. Occasionally, yeah, I think we used to put a little money in there and hide them. So that's actually a good idea. I have to start thinking about this because, I'm a grandma now. Always thinking of Rory. I'm kind of still working away on my disciples. So what's everybody been doing to kind of keep themselves busy? I don't know if everybody, because I know the Rockford schools were actually on break last week. So that, so you probably didn't have were able to get any homework or anything. And I don't know how many of you are actually going to be able to do school online. So I know I live up in Rockton, and a lot of those kids were able to get their homework, and so their moms and dads are homeschooling them and probably having a new appreciation for teachers. And yeah, because I would. Poor Alex, he would never wanted me to homeschool him. But yeah, okay, I'll show you. Here's my version of, so far, I'm still not done yet, but I'm still working on it. I got, how many more to go? Probably 9 more guys to put on here. And we don't know. You know what, at the Last Supper, it might not have just been all the disciples. It could have been, other friends that they have met along the way. Jesus might have had his mother there. I always like to think about that his mom was there. Because you like to think, hey, when your kids get older, you always still like to hang out with them. And, they all had beards, so that's fun to draw. Because then you don't have to find a chin for them and kind of hide their mouth a little bit. Put a mustache on them. But what else have we doing? We talk about. So what is your favorite book? Does anybody have a favorite book? my favorite book is, well, I read the Bible a lot. I read the Bible every day, or at least I read a verse. I have a couple of favorites. Be Still is my favorite. One of the things I really like about that verse is my life gets busy, just like everybody's, and sometimes I have to remember to just be still and just take a minute, especially if I get overwhelmed or I get just frustrated. I need to stop and just be still and just chill for a minute and put things into perspective and then move on. And that's something I think we're all going to need to do in the next couple of weeks, because we're going to all be home, and and we're going to be on top of each other, and this is something new, and we just need to remember that. And we're all kind of in the same boat, and we're all going through the same things. So, and not everybody likes to be home all the time. There are people who do. I'm kind of active and I like to do a lot of things. So I'm busy. And so now I get to take a moment and I get to be still. And, so I'm remembering that, and I'm thinking, I'm going to take this and make it a positive, and I'm going to, really start thinking about things I need to do better. And, like I said, I've been cleaning, I've been reading, I've been catching up on things that I haven't been able to do for a long time, and things I enjoy doing. And I hope you guys are all doing that too. I know that, a lot of you like to play video games and you like to play board games, so now I get to do a lot more of that. And going back to the Last Supper, again, Jesus liked hanging out with his friends. He loved, he loved that interaction with people. And even though we can't do that as much, we can really, we can do other things. We can FaceTime, we can, write letters, send cards, all of that. So, well, I hope you guys all enjoyed our time together today. This is something new. We're all trying to figure it out. Like I said, this was something that I did, I've never done before, so I got to learn something new this week. And, I spent a couple hours yesterday trying to figure it out, and Joy, she helped me, thank goodness, because I was not figuring it out on my own. So you can still call people, Anyway, I would kind of like to end with a prayer. So if we could all bow our heads, close our eyes. Dear Lord, please be with us for the next couple of weeks while most of us are homebound. Please give us patience with each other. You've given us an opportunity to do things we haven't done for a while, or maybe learn some new things. Dear Lord, please remind us of all the good things we have in our lives. And I hope that we are grateful and that we share our feelings with each other. Lord, please be with us. Keep us safe. Keep us healthy. Amen. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Next week, Mr. Paul's going to do the sermon for you that you would have normally seen at the children's, the junior worship that we do once a month. So I hope you're all looking forward to that. I know I am. It's always good to see that. I love junior worship. I do. It's probably one of my favorite things. And I hope you all have a good week. And like I said, have fun, find things to do. Don't drive mom and dad crazy. And just, we'll get through this. It's just something new. And it's just our normal for a couple weeks, and then we're all going to be fine. So say your prayers. Keep each other in your prayers. Pray for people to stay healthy and hopefully then we'll get over this sooner than later. Yeah. Anyway, have a good week, everybody. I just, I hope you all are staying safe and keeping your social distance. But anyway, have a good week, and I'm praying for you too. Have a happy Sunday. Bye, everybody.